This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Colb, they accusing me of being a hater, so I'm going to be positive today. We're talking about Justin Fields. The sky is the limit. Look at the team. Look at the wide receivers. DJ Moore in the offseason. How you feeling about Justin Fields right now, man?
Look, man, I try to chill out with the hyperbole when we get on here. I try to keep it level. Try to keep a level head. Just try to be objective. Try not to get too high, not get too low. You know what I'm saying? Justin Fields. I think this is going to be the year.
You think it's going to be the year?
The leap is coming. The leap is coming.
You know what? I want so badly, but I don't think anybody will get the joke because I don't think a lot of people watch Mike Korzemba videos back in the day or remember doing that. But you know what not Trevor Lawrence. You know what Justin Fields is? Mike Vick with the jump shot. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, what's wrong with you, dog?
All right, but for real, we here to talk about Justin Fields. Let's see what ESPN has to say.
And play guard, so they've got some Braxton Jones who they draft. That's a good front. Cole Kmet. So his starting three receivers this year are DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney.
Yeah. Ooh, Chase Claypool bringing that whole room down, baby. Ooh.
Hey, real quick. Can we talk about how bad that trade was, dog?
Can
we talk about how bad that trade was?
Whew.
My God, they would have been better off just keeping that pick.
They got 200 receiving yards out of it.
For a second rounder, bro. For a good second rounder.
The 32nd pick in the draft.
A great second round pick, dog.
It only happens like once every 7 years that somebody gets caught cheating and you get that fortune with the second round pick. And they traded it for Chase Claypool.
They could have took any receiver pretty much any receiver they wanted.
They could have took somebody with that pick and got a better receiver.
They could have took Marvin Mims. They could have took Marvin Mims with that pick and been fine.
You know what I mean? So everybody under the Chase Claypool I like though, Yeah. Donta Foreman. That's an interesting one. He always he had a big game with the Titans that year that was it Derrick Henry couldn't run? Was that 2021? Mm-hmm. He had that big game and they didn't give him the ball enough. But he just kind of float. That's not a real starting running back though, right? Donta Foreman's not a real starting running back. They got Matt Eberflus. You know what I mean? The Eberflus era. See if my man knows what to do with Justin Fields. You know what's interesting about Justin too? He plays completely different than he did at Ohio State. Like, he did not run this much at Ohio State.
He didn't.
And it turned out he might have been one of the greatest runners of the football in college football history if he had just ran the ball. You know what I mean? Only thing holding back Ohio State is coaching. I swear to God. It's the only thing holding back Ohio State is coaching. Why every time one of these Ohio State quarterbacks get to the league, we find out they got a new superpower? Like every time one of them gets to the league. We just talked about it with Justin Fields. Who else was the other one that came out with? Oh, Joe Burrow just magically found out he was the greatest quarterback of all time once he left Ohio State. Hey, one of the greatest college football runs ever. And we're gonna find out that CJ Stroud run a 4.3 or something like that. Like let us find out. You know what I mean? Like,
and this video wasn't supposed to be about Ryan Day.
It's not just Ryan Day. It's Urban Meyer too. Like, you know what I mean? It's the whole peanut gallery. They can recruit great, but they don't know what to do with these dudes. Hey, by the way, Urban Meyer, same dude who had Cam Newton, went with Tim Tebow over him. And yes, it did work out. Tim Tebow did win a championship, but they could have won like 8 of them things with Cam Newton if you just would have let him stay on the team. Like, I don't care. If Cam Newton stole my laptop and I was the coach, Cam staying on the team, dog. Like, all the stuff they had going on in Florida, and Cam got kicked out over a laptop.
Hey, dog, talk about it.
You know what I mean? They had real life murderers on the team.
Real killers on the
real
roster.
criminals. They had straight up murder. Like, I'm not even being hyperbolic. They had actual killers. like an actual shooter on the team. And not like a shooter like, oh man, Ja Morant is a shooter. No.
A real shooter.
A real life goon. Like there's no other way to describe it. He murdered multiple people. Like,
a real hitman.
Some would call him a serial killer.
A real hitman on the roster, dog.
And Urban was like, hey, Aaron Hernandez seems fine to me. But Cam, he's got to go. What?
Hey, man.
We don't give Urban Meyer near enough flack.
The 30 for 30 on Urban Meyer going to be so wild.
The thing is, Urban's smart enough to be on his own 30 for 30. So he going to spin that thing around. You know what I mean? He going to start praying in the middle of it, quoting scriptures, the whole 30 for 30. So they could just be like, hey, man, he didn't know. I like this dude. But in real life, he knew. But Aaron Hernandez was out here, kicking it like a dude who might murder some people. And Urban Meyer was like, I can't get him off the team, baby. 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns right there. Like, Tim Tebow can't throw that thing that far. I need somebody who could catch it. Would it have been a problem if Cam was on the team? I'm just saying. We don't give him flack for that. We don't give him flack for losing Joe Burrow to LSU. We don't ever give him flack for that. Like, you know what I mean? Justin Fields. He got Justin Fields, didn't know he could run. We don't give him flack for that. He slides on so much because he won like a couple of national championships. But dog, we got to start talking about Urban, dog. Like,
listen, I say it all the time. When you win, we gonna ignore some stuff. We just are. Hey, he won. So all that other stuff, we just gonna ignore it because he won. People want Urban to come back now.
And
People want Urban to come back right now.
And if you think that Aaron Hernandez is just the only thing that went wrong in Florida while he was there.
Oh, no.
Oh, you don't know anything about that Florida team. Aaron Hernandez is just the one everybody know about. Like, you don't know about everything else that was going on at Florida.
You know why? Because he was winning and Tim Tebow was praying. So that's all we focused on.
You know what I mean? That's all we focused on. We thought they were some good boys. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, we don't talk about Urban Meyer being a terrible coach enough. We don't. Like, a man who has gotten by. He's the luckiest man in the world because he's not good at coaching. I refuse to ever say he's good at coaching. But you know what? He's won 2 national championships. No, 3. He's won 3, right?
3 national championships.
3 national championships, which tells me, hey, of all of the major sports, college football championship, easiest one to win on a fluke. You know what I mean? Easiest one to win on a fluke. Just like how in the NBA, if a coach has like an NBA finals win, it don't really matter, right? Ty Lue can be unemployed for a couple of years, even though he won an NBA championship, because we know the coaching don't matter that much, at least in the game day perspective.
Bro,
it's the same way in college football.
Mike Budenholzer just got fired. He won a championship in Milwaukee.
Like, do we think Kirby Smart's actually a great coach? Because we didn't think that before he got all this talent. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he is a great recruiter.
You know what I mean? The only dude we think is a legitimately great coach is Nick Saban out there, right? But everybody else, like Kirby Smart, we didn't talk about him like this when he was out here with Jarvis Jones. You know what I mean? Like, we wasn't talking about Georgia like that. Same thing with Urban Meyer. Nobody cared when he was at Utah with Alex Smith. We wasn't talking about Urban Meyer like that. But all of a sudden, he get to Florida, and he let all of Florida in Florida. Okay, yeah, of course you're going to be good. Half the NFL is from Florida. Like, yes. If you have the best players, it's easy to win in college football. Anyways, I didn't mean to derail this whole video. Urban Meyer, like, come on, man. We don't realize that's a fraud yet with Urban. Like,
listen, you could be a fraud when you win.
I guess.
You could be a fraud when you win. That's fine.
You can steal stuff when you get away with it. You know what I mean? Like, Urban Meyer and the dude doing credit fraud at Target, same guy. Same guy. Different profession. Same dude.
Doing credit fraud should have been a coach.
Why do you think he was so good at recruiting? You know what I mean? He understood the hustle. He's like, oh yeah, I just do that with coaching. You know what I mean? Like,
make a couple promises, drop a couple bags off. We get to.
How many dudes on that Florida team bought bad credit cards? You know what I mean? How many dudes of those teams have we actually investigated of those Florida teams will get stopped up on improper gift cards? Like, you know what I mean? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. And I promise you, all them dudes on that Florida team know what I'm talking about. Watch the episode of Atlanta if you don't know what I'm talking about.
He's number 3. So we're watching an offense that traditionally, this is the Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, Gary Kubiak offense that Luke gets either play call runs. It traditionally props quarterbacks up a little bit. That's just the way it is, okay? So we now have an offense that does that has this incredible.
17 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions is pretty good. You know what I mean? 3-12 in starts ain't good, but that's the Bears' fault.
Yeah. Like, I always look at things in context. Like, that Bears team last year was horrible. Talent-wise, probably the least. Well, either them or the Cardinals, the least talented NFL teams. Like, they're not that. They weren't that talented. This year's team, I think, is going to be significantly better. Still some holes, but I think they're going to be a lot better, especially on defense. I think their defense is going to be a lot better this season. But that's just me personally.
Incredible athlete that is going to even elevate the offense. That doesn't happen a lot in this scheme.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think his athleticism allows him to expand it a little bit. The last thing I'd say about this situation is this. Justin has to get the ball out of his hands quicker physically, not mentally.
Yeah, that's
physically, the long release. And you can see it on the internet. It's getting tightened a little bit. If that does happen, MVP level football.
Ooh.
Okay, before we get to all that spice. I didn't expect that from Dan. All right.
Ooh, we're talking at an MVP level?
Nah.
MVP
They gonna make
level?
me hate. See, they gonna make. This is what I'm saying. I become the hater because I don't want to go along with that. Like, can't the boy just be good this year? Pro Bowl level. Whatever happened to just, hey man, I feel like he could have a good year. We can't say that, man. Okay. All right. So one, a running quarterback, you know, or a athletic quarterback, in theory, should work better in that Shanahan style system. My thing is, when have they ever?
I
can't name one. It's never happened. It's not like they haven't tried. Like
I'm really struggling trying to think about.
That leads to my second point. See, we look at this quarterback system as a cheat code, and then we assign it a cheat code because we know it to be a cheat code. But do we ever evaluate why we think it's a cheat code? The reason you think it's a cheat code is because it simplifies things for the quarterback. Hey, if this is the look pre-snap, we're going to go left side of the field. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, high, low, middle, and we're going to get rid of the ball by the time you get to your third step. Right? Instead of having to process everything, it's that. It's like the vision cone, just having it fixed. You know what I mean? At one area, you know you're going to go to 1, 2, or 3, and you know when you're going to get rid of the ball. The coach is scheming that up for you. If you grew up with an advanced ability to move on the football field, and what I'm referring to as athleticism, you're not going to be so inclined to be so reliant on things like that, right? We saw this with Deshaun Watson. They inserted him into that same offense, and he did not look better than Jacoby Brissett in that offense, to the point where they're like, yeah, we obviously can't run the same thing like with Deshaun in there, because Deshaun isn't used to, I got to my third step, let me get rid of the ball real quick. Kirk Cousins is, right? You put Kirk Cousins in there, you're going to look great. You know, Kirk Cousins is going to look great if he's put in one of them offenses. But then you put Cam in it, Cam don't look right because Cam's used to making adjustments Cam's used to making plays. Cam's used to seeing things open up in a different way. I don't think that style of offense is compatible with elite talented quarterbacks. It's really good for mid to low tier quarterbacks. It's good to prop up middle level guys, but at the end, it's a crutch. And it's a crutch you have to get rid of if you want to get past a certain level of quarterback play. And I think there's a very few examples in the league of guys who can play elite and play in that strict style, that strict Stanton Shanahan style. I think you can get a lot out of a Brock Purdy with it. You can get a lot out of a Jimmy Garoppolo or Jacoby Brissett. But you put Pat Mahomes in that offense, he's not going to look like Pat Mahomes no more. Because most of what makes Pat Mahomes special is that he don't got to be on time. Is that he don't got to just look at one side. Is that he can do something if he gets to his third step and something's not quite clear. You're taking away so much of his game. I wonder if Trey Lance would look better if he was on a different offense. We spend so much time because we see the product of, hey, you can make Brian Hoyer look good in this offense. But who has that offense elevated? Has it made Matt Stafford look like something he wasn't when he was in that offense with the Rams? And that's a very stripped down version of it, right? He looked like Matt Stafford, right? And who is that offense actually elevated is another question to ask. Like, in order to elevate, like Aaron Rodgers is maybe an example somebody can make. But they stripped down that offense to where it barely resembled, the Shanahan style offense when he was there. It looked like Aaron Rodgers' offense, right? It looked like what Aaron Rodgers always does. And that's the thing that I'm worried about with Justin Fields. A lot of expectations on him. A lot of people are excited. But I just don't think this kind of offense is what works when you're Justin Fields. When you have more options than just, hey, let me get on my back foot and be on time. If Justin Fields were McCorkle Jones, yeah, this would work out probably. But I just don't think that Justin Fields, this is a good fit for him. And I don't think we've discussed enough what fits and doesn't fit in that offense from a quarterback style, because we talk about it as if it's this magic elixir to fix your quarterback play.
It's like one of those things where, and I don't disagree with anything you're saying, by the way. I completely agree with everything you're saying. Like you said, mid-tier quarterbacks, perfect offense. Baker Mayfield, who hated it for whatever reason here in Cleveland.
Perfect example, right? No, perfect example. When he had nothing else to do or had no other leverage than to do what Kevin Stefanski was telling him, he looked fine in that offense. Looked as good as he's ever looked.
Literally, the best of his best quarterback play of his career.
Yeah. When he decided that he didn't want to fit in that offense anymore and he wanted to do something else, and he in his mind felt like he wanted to elevate himself past that offense, didn't look the same. I think it took them that and Deshaun Watson 6 games this year to be like, oh, okay. There is a ceiling. There's a ceiling here that we put on our quarterbacks when we're so strict in this system. And the thing with Justin Fields is he's not Deshaun Watson. He hasn't led the league in passing yards. He's not a multiple-time Pro Bowler. He can't walk in there and say, hey, look, this is giving me a ceiling. Let's do some stuff I did at Ohio State. No, he's going to be asked to run that offense pretty strictly. And if he doesn't, they'll just bench him. And that's why I worry about the direction that the Bears are going offensively. And he throwing to Chase Claypool.
DJ Moore is going to help a lot, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When in doubt, throw him the ball.
You know what I mean? That's what P.J. Walker did. P.J. Walker got out there, started playing quarterback in Carolina, looked at Baker Mayfield like, yo, why you doing this the whole time? You know what I mean? All I'm doing is throwing DJ Moore the ball. Why are you out here trying to throw the ball to Rashard Higgins? And P.J. Walker balling out that game because of that. But again, it's one of those things I think have not been talked about a lot because we're in the era of, hey, we're going to pump up all the Shanahan style stuff. I think it is reaching to the point, and I think by the time we get to like the halfway mark through this year, and mark my words, you know what I mean? When you're in a space and somebody says this, just give me a shout out. Just give me a shout out when this comes out. I feel like we've gotten to the point to where so many people are running Shanahan style offenses that it's inevitable that we're going to see the downsides of running this offense start to become a thing in the league. How many teams are running Shanahan-style offenses? It seemed like every team that hired a new coach is.
I'm about to say, like, definitely more than half.
Yes. This is why you should probably be moving away from it, because for all of this stuff that we've done to move to the Shanahan-style offense, which Shanahan-style teams have won the Super Bowl? Exactly. So, so I'm just saying, it feels like we're at that point. We just don't realize it yet. But that's why I worry about Justin Fields. Do you share the same concerns that I have with him?
My thing is this, and I kind of touched on it a little bit like earlier. I think because the talent on the team is going to be so much better, he is going to perform better, and I think he's going to have a really good season. As far as ceilings and how far can you actually go running this offense, I hear you, but the Bears are in a place where, man, we just trying to be good. Like, we just trying to not be terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could get to that. We could get to that at some point where we question like the ceiling, how far can he actually go running this offense? All those things, all of those are legitimate concerns that I'm not disagreeing with. But man, I just think they got more talent on the team. And I think he's going to play better just because the people around him aren't terrible.
I would say at Ohio State, one of the things that Justin Fields was worse at, was at its worst, was when you asked him to be on time. When you let Justin get a little bit more creative, when Justin was in situations like he was against Clemson that one game where he just had the ball, hey, we saw Justin Fields look like a man possessed. But when you were asking Justin Fields, hey, be on time, hit this hitch, hit this slant, that's where he struggled, got out of rhythm sometimes. That's where he kind of forgot that he's a dynamic athlete. That's where you would be frustrated with him. And I feel like the Bears are putting him in a position to do all the stuff that he's not good at. And because you're doing all of that, you're not going to put him in a position to do the stuff that he is good at, which is improvise, which is throw downfield, which is see things open up. You know, he's not the fastest processor, but when he sees it, he can get it there. He can whip it fast, and he can run like nobody else, right? Like,
it's literally like him and Lamar Jackson as far as running football. Like it's literally those two.
I feel like this offense puts him in a position to do all the things that he's great at less, more so than last year. And I just have my concerns about it, about the Bears and their whole direction going forward. I hope the best. I like Justin Fields. He seems like the nicest dude. I'll be seeing him like do all kind of nice stuff on chair. Like legitimately seems like a good dude. Like I know we say that all the time. He seems like a good dude, but like legitimately every time I see Justin Fields, it's some heartwarming, wholesome stuff on my timeline, you know? But that don't change the situation.
Hey, I gotta give it to you, dog. You be getting creative with the hate. I appreciate
what?
You be getting creative with it.
I'm not hating.
You be creative with it. I respect it. You know what you do? You know what you do? Before you get to the hate, you lead with love. And then you get to the hate.
I learned from Stephen A. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting my Stephen A bag together.
He's a legitimately great human being. I don't think he's gonna play that well. Though. I don't think.
I'm not hating. You know, I'm not hating. You know, I'm just telling the future. And if you think it's gonna be a sunny day outside tomorrow, and I tell you it's gonna rain because I know it's gonna rain, and it rain, I'm not hating on the current weather. I'm just telling you what's about to happen. It seems like it's gonna rain. You know, all I'm doing is looking up in the NFL clouds and saying, hey, that look like a lot of cloud coverage. You know what I mean? Those clouds look real heavy. It might rain in Chicago. And that's all I'm saying, Chicago Bears fans. If Justin Fields does not succeed this year, it ain't his fault. You don't got to give up on him. You just made the wrong decision as far as direction. You can change the direction. I don't love this direction that y'all going in, you know? And I know it's easy. Look, off season, you think you're going to have nothing but sunny days and 80-degree weather all football season. You don't never think about the rain. But like New Edition said, Can you stand the rain? And all I'm telling you, it's gonna rain a little bit, dog. It's gonna rain a lot.
I'm so angry you snuck a New Edition reference.
You know what I mean? Bears fans might be saying to themselves during the season, if this isn't love, why do I feel this way? At least they felt that way during the season.
2 New Edition references, Jesus.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Every little stuff I take forward, I try to get better and better at this game. And it's just my prerogative to do so. And I understand that there are going to be people who react to this commentary with sensitivity, but my, I just try to do what I can do. The over 30 crowd would love what I just did there. The under 30 crowd would not understand what happened. But I guess it's time for me to cool it now. This has been Q and Colb. Y'all have a great day.